Cheers.
Back on Get Down to Business, we're talking with Helene Berns, the Vice President at Associated Agencies. Helene, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Helene, first of all, getting a smile out of the story you just told me about how you actually ended up at Associated Agencies. You mind telling our listeners?
I was actually, a friend of mine called the owner, Skip Schreyer, and asked him to please see me. I was going through a divorce. I needed a job, and I had some insurance licenses and nowhere to work. And he agreed to see me, but made sure to let me know that he wasn't really hiring. So we talked for a long time, and he was generous enough to say that he would help me. But I realized that I was really sitting in the presence of somebody who was just so unbelievably brilliant in this career and in this field, and needed to see if there was any way I could get an opportunity to work for him.
Well, you did exactly what we advise our listeners to do. You focused in, you realized that you could learn from somebody else, and you made it happen. And here you are, and you're growing your book of business. One of your books of business, I know not the only one, is you underwrite a huge amount of the gentlemen's clubs around the country.
I do.
Interesting. And with that in mind, you travel a lot, don't you?
I do.
And again, you're just a social butterfly, and you talk to people, and you've actually gotten business from random people that you've met.
I have. I sort of have made it my life's work everywhere I go to meet people and to talk to people. I've made a lot of acquaintances on plane rides, and out of that has come actually quite a bit of business for me. So
is there something, a little bit of advice that you can share? What works for you? Is it just you're just not scared?
Well, no, I'm not scared, but I also think it's really having a genuine interest in getting to know people and who they are and what they do. And I do have a genuine interest. I enjoy learning about what people do and who they are. And I think that is what's portrayed to another person, and I think people pick up on that. I think they realize who is genuinely interested and who's just having small talk.
So when you meet somebody, I think that's so important. You're not just selling to them. You actually want to know who they are, and as it happens, sometimes they become a client. Sometimes you might become a client of theirs.
Absolutely. And my office and the owner of my company is very stringent about us always trying to connect people, though it may have nothing to do with our business, but to work that side all the time and help people if you can. And he did that for me. So I always look to do that for other people.
So you've talked about Skip Schreyer and you've talked about Associated Agencies. Tell us a little bit more about Associated and what kinds of business you work with and how many people are there and why you guys are so good at what you do.
I think one of the interesting things about Associated Agencies is that it's over 120 years old. It's been owned by the same Schreyer family throughout all 120 years. So that makes us sort of an enigma in this world, I believe. We write across the board. We write every line of coverage. We're a large brokerage. We have about 130 employees. And we're very prominent in the industry. We're in Crane's written up as one of the 10 best, brokerages in the country. We're just a really good homegrown company that treats our clients, every client. Doesn't matter if you're a big client or a little client, like you're someone that's very important to all of us, and we all do that.
Interesting. And the Schreyer family certainly cares about community, and I think that's part of the reason for growth. I think what goes around comes around, and your involvement in community certainly pays off. People recognize that.
Very much so. Very much so.
And I'm a big believer in learning something from everybody that you meet. We talked earlier in the show with Bob Beatty and always having a next step. Helene, you deal with an interesting clientele in some cases. You deal with gentlemen clubs. Is there something that you've learned along the way, some message? And let's keep it PG over here. Is there some lesson that you've learned that you can share with our listeners?
I think there's a lot of lessons that I've learned along the way because it's been an interesting 5 years. But I think that one of the really important lessons, yes, for sure, is to give back to the community, to work really hard to recognize that, and to not let daunting situations stop you, to figure out a way, pick up the pieces, and move on. I think that, we've all faced some type of crisis in our life. And we need to be able to figure out a way to move on. And there is always a way. And there are people out there that are willing to help you. And I think you have to just put your head together, move forward, and do what you need to do to get past that. And you will find a way to get through.
Well, you have a fascinating story. Again, you met the owner of your company when you were going through a divorce, and you got back up on your feet and you made things happen. So once again, we're talking with Helene Berns, a vice president at Associated Agencies. What are the other areas that your other book of business?
I write group health. We write, I write all different lines of businesses. We write all commercial lines. We write life. We write health. We write disability. We write long-term care. There's absolutely, we're home. We have auto and home.
You can handle anything.
All of it. And we have a really neat business model because we're one of the only large brokerages in the country where it's one broker for everything. So you have your one guy and you call us for everything. You don't have to have a million different numbers and go
So
through.
Helene can help. So Helene, how can people reach out to you?
You can reach me at Associated Agencies, and my email is hberns@associated.cc, like Charlie.
And their website is associated.cc. Check them out. Helene Berns of Associated Agencies. Thanks for joining us on Get Down to Business. After the break, we're going to talk about attracting great employees.
I'm Pete